Hey folks, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about how to fix leaky magazines here. And what I have here is the MP5 submachine gun. Now of course everybody knows what this is. It's a gun that was made from the 1960s really. And the model or the design of it essentially has stayed basically the same since then. The delayed roller blowback system has worked really well, and it's found quite a lot of uses. And for a gun that's been made that long ago, it's aged considerably well. It still looks, up to today, to look like a very modern submachine gun. So it isn't surprising that a lot of folks still want to use this. This is a classic. It's going to be in every collector's arsenal if it's available and if they can get their hands on one. Barring import issues and all that stuff. And if you can find one, this is going to be in anyone's collection. But as parts are a little bit rare to find for this gun, I wanted to go into a major issue. This is a leaky magazine. So today we're going to be focusing on how to fix this. And we'll get into that right now. Now, I wanted to make this video wait a little bit longer because I wanted to see if I can fix not just the issue of the O-ring down here that's leaking, but also the O-ring on the out or the release valves as well. But I wasn't able to find the O-rings for that just yet. So today's video will really only focus on the leaking of the bottom part of the magazine, how to replace that part. I couldn't find anything online, so I think this would be a good video to help with that. Plus, this is the part that's going to leak the most, given the design of the magazine, and so that's why we're going to focus on this first. So here we are, going to pop off the two retention pins right here at the base of the magazine, and that way it will allow us to pull off the base plate and have access to the O-rings. When you're doing that, as you can see, there's a spring right there, right? That's the spring that pushes the follower and the rounds up normally. So be very careful to make sure you're holding down the base plate, because if you don't hold it down, that spring is going to push that base plate flying across the room, which is actually what happened to me initially when I did that. So just keep that in mind and do so carefully, or else you'll be searching for a little bit. Anyway, so once you have the base plate removed and carefully taken off, you'll notice that there's an O-ring that's wrapped around the square part of the base plate. Originally, I had replaced this in the past, but I used the diameter, so the 20.5 O-ring diameter, and which is here. And that one actually was a little bit too small, so it would work initially, but then during the cold temperatures, it would shrink a little bit and cause some leakage. So I speculated that we can upgrade the O-ring to a larger O-ring so that even if it does shrink when it's a little bit colder, it's not going to shrink to the point where it causes it to leak. And so the next step up is actually the 21.5 millimeter diameter. Again, the cross section itself, like the thickness of the O-ring, is still 1 millimeter. It's just the extra, I guess the diameter. I'm not really sure what the units are, but basically it's the 20.5. 21.5 is the new one. Take a look. We'll reinstall it. Take the spring, reinstall it with a follower as such. Slide it back in here, and then just carefully condense it together, compress the spring, okay, and then this is the moment of truth. Well, not yet. Slide that in. Make sure you use the little gap there, the little ledge, the little nub right there. You want to use that to make sure that the spring lands on that, but I accidentally just dropped the O-rings. Have to do it again. So once more. Okay. Push it down while you're holding the spring. Okay, now that you got a good handle on it. Oops. Great, this might be too big. Hold on. Okay, perfect. And then just as before, you want to hammer them in. I usually use a roll of tape as a platform while I try to knock the pins. Make sure you want to get the right side. Remember, one of them is like studded and then the other side is not. So we'll go the studded edge first. There we go. That's one in. I guess you have to kind of hold it in because the spring is pushing it out. There you go. And the rest should be easy money. Use the punch to kind of gently knock it into flush so it fits flush. There you go. And now we'll fill with gas and see if it leaks. Cool. So now I'm listening to it. No sounds of it leaking. Normally you would hear sounds and leaking it right there. So very good. So that's a better O-ring size after trial and error. This is now the official MP5 size, at least for the base plate.